Hi, welcome to or back to my YouTube channel, Zoe Butler Learning How to Life. This is part 2 of episode 7, how, what are chakras and how knowing could change your life. So if you haven't seen part 1 to this episode, I would recommend going and having a look at it at some point. You don't have to right now. Hopefully this video will make some sense without it, but part 1 is definitely a really good introduction to what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So in part 1 of this episode, I started to introduce the concept of chakras, which are energy centers in the body. And basically just encouraging everyone to not only look at their body and who they are from a physical level, because you aren't just this physical sack of bones and meat and organs and things. You also have an energy body that extends beyond your physical body. So that was basically what part 1 of this episode was all about, was just talking about the fact that you are not just physical mass, like you have energy that flows through you and that also extends beyond you, called your energy body or also your aura. And I believe that taking care of yourself is the best way to take care of yourself is to not just take care of your physical body, but also your energy body and the energy that runs through your body. Now, when I'm talking about energy, I'm not talking about, like, oh, I'm full of energy, I can go for a jog. Not that type of energy. Like basically this electric magnetic field that surrounds your body and that also runs through your body. So if none of that makes sense to you and you haven't watched the first part of my video, I would recommend going back to episode 1 and having a look. So in the first episode, we basically spoke about how, sometimes, as we're going through life and we're having these breakdowns, either in our physical body, like we've got physical conditions or emotional conditions or mental conditions, or just problems in life. Sometimes for me, definitely has nothing to do with what's happening in the physical body, but definitely something to do with what's happening in my energy system and in my energy body. And this is really important, especially for people who have ongoing health concerns that they can't seem to get on top of, or reoccurring sicknesses or illnesses that just keep coming back. And, the doctors have sort of no explanation about why. Then this information can be really helpful. So the basic concept that I shared with you in the first part of this video is you're not just physical, you have an energy body that extends beyond your physical body. It's called your energy field or your aura. And within this energy body, there are 7 main points where the energy gathers, like a little energy hub, and they're called chakras. So chakras were brought to the Western world through yoga. And the word chakra itself translates to wheel or disc, which I mentioned previously. So we have 7 main chakras that run along the spine. So the first one being at the very base of the spine and the top one being at the crown of the head. So as I said, chakra means wheel or disc. So you can picture each chakra as we talk about them as like a wheel or a disc. And for optimum health and well-being, the wheel or disc should be spinning and moving. The energy goes in and the energy goes out. But sometimes, depending on what's going on in our life, it's like the energy becomes stuck and the wheel or disc stops spinning. And when the energy is not flowing freely, it can manifest and cause physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic problems. So I've found this concept and this truth to be incredibly empowering and has helped me maintain my health, and it's helped me to understand myself at a much deeper level, especially as I go through life and then something presents or happens within my physical body or my mind or within my emotions. It's often got something to do with what's going on in my energy system, in my chakra system, and having this knowledge has allowed me to be able to very easily address that and correct the problem to maintain my health and well-being. So I really do hope that as you watch this video, you get a lot out of it. I do think there'll be some of you that have some massive fucking aha moments. And, I hope it all really kind of makes sense to you. And just even inspires you to start viewing yourself from maybe a different angle than you have been previously. So what I want to do in this video specifically is I want to go through each of the 7 chakras, and we're going to talk about what it's related to, because each one interacts with basically a different part of who you are, a different part of your life, and the energy flowing through there is impacted and affected by certain areas of your life and certain emotions, certain experiences. And so I want to make it really clear what each chakra is related to within your life, and I want to also make it really clear, I'm going to go through some symptoms of a really balanced, healthy chakra and symptoms of an imbalanced or blocked chakra, so that you, as we go through this video, can start to identify if perhaps you have some areas to work on. As we go through each chakra, I'll also be talking to you about things that can cause the imbalance in that area, and just some practical activities and things we can do to help stimulate the energy flow basically through that chakra point and bring back a balance. First thing I really want to get across though is, like, when you're taking care of your chakras, taking care of your chakras is like taking care of any other part of your body. It's not like you just balance all your chakras one day and fucking good to go, got balanced chakras. Like, that's not how it works. It's like daily maintenance. All right, so I've also got this little book here, which is something that I use a lot when I'm doing training and talking about chakras. It's just a really cool summary of the chakra system. And basically what I use it for is it's got a really simple lists about, you know, characteristics of a harmonious and balanced chakra and characteristics of out of balance chakras. So I'm just gonna draw some information from this as we go through. Okay. I feel like I've been talking really fast. We're already 9 minutes in. I feel like it'll be another long video, but worth it, I hope. So yeah, without further ado, let's start talking about the individual chakras. So as I said, you've got 7 chakras. First one is at the base of the spine. 7th one is at the top of the head. We're going to start with number 1. So the first energy center we're going to talk about is called the base chakra or the root chakra. I like to call it the root chakra. So it's located at the very base of your spine and kind of opens downwards. So as I mentioned earlier, each chakra will bring energy in from the universe and the surroundings and your environment, and energy will also flow out. And that's the ideal situation, but sometimes they can become blocked. So your first chakra is at the base of the spine. As I said, I like to call this one my root chakra because I think of this one, I like the word root because it reminds me of like a tree. And this one really is like your tree chakra, your root chakra, where if you can imagine your roots kind of growing down into the earth. So the root chakra, it connects us. It's all about like physicality, survival, and security. So this chakra really links us and is connected to our physical material world. So it is most greatly impacted by things playing out in our physical material world, basically. So this one is largely influenced by physical things and basically anything that we require as humans to feel like a safe, secure, grounded individual. So definitely connected to our material needs. So things like, you know, clothing and housing and food and money and those things that are really physical. This like really connects us to our physical world. And when it's functioning properly, we feel grounded, we feel secure, we feel safe, we trust in where we're at, we feel stable. So if you think of this one as like the roots kind of grounding you into the earth, it doesn't really matter what's happening and kind of like what's changing in your environment. If this one is healthy, we still feel stable and we feel secure and safe. Because this one is so connected to our physical body, our physical world, our physical needs as a human, our material needs as a human, it's greatly impacted by change. So if we're having massive changes going on in life which are impacting how grounded we feel, how stable we feel, how secure we feel, then the energy through this chakra is definitely going to become affected, and it's going to be really important for us to take care of this chakra as we're going through massive changes. So the root chakra, to just keep it really simple, the root chakra connects you to your physical world, and its main primary functions are to do with your physical body, security, stability, and survival. This is like a really primal chakra. And this one I didn't really mention in this video yet, but each chakra is connected to specific parts of our physical body as well. So this one is connected very much so to the legs, knees, like lower part of the body, skin as well, skeletal system, so our skeleton, also our liver and urinary tract. So if the energy is not flowing freely through this chakra point, those are the systems that can become disrupted or affected. So you can have issues with your skin, hence why I'm breaking out like a motherfucker recently, because I'm going, literally my whole life has been uprooted the past couple months, and my skin is showing that, where my skin is usually like, I don't have an issue. Legs as well, so if you have massive like hip, lower leg, like leg, knee problems, like ongoing, and there's no issue, you can't figure out why. Urinary tract infections or anything to do with the liver. So it's really common, I've seen this quite a bit, is people going through big changes, like they're doing a big move or something, or they don't cope well with change and never have coped well with change, and they don't feel stable and secure where they're at. Constant like repetitive urinary tract infections can be because of an imbalance in this chakra. Now you'll hear me say as we go through this, it could be because of this. I'm not saying that all urinary tract infections are due to an imbalance in your root chakra. So this is just, hopefully you can use this information to help you, but it is not always going to be absolute truth based on, you know, actually what's going on in your life. Anyway, so the root chakra is your root basically, which connects you to the physical world. So to give you an idea of characteristics that will show as a human being when this one, the root chakra, is balanced, is we're really patient, we're motivated, we have quite a bit of vitality and energy, we feel really strong within our body. This one connects us to like our heritage as well and our tribe. So we do feel, when this one is functioning healthily, we feel a great sense of belonging, pride about our family, pride about our heritage. We feel really secure and stable, and we trust where we're at. We also feel really, there's a strong connection between the mind and the body as well. Strong connection to community, and we have a strong ability to meet our survival needs and our security needs, basically. So things that we need to function day to day. An ability to manifest your goals, so to actually bring your goals into physical form. We're really connected to reality as well. A lot of people who have an imbalance within this chakra can be a little bit spacey, not really connected to reality, not really grounded, I suppose. We feel connected to earth and nature, and we feel like a fucking right, you know, we have a right to be here basically on earth. So we feel really stable, feel like we're connected to the earth, we have a right to be here. Really good eating habits, and just being a grounded, strong, secure individual. But if this chakra is imbalanced, we can showcase characteristics, so like having, as I said, feet and leg problems, problems with the urinary tract, bladder, kidneys, anything like that. Fears about our security and safety, so not actually feeling secure and safe in our environment, or just basically in our life at the moment. A fear about losing possessions and material wealth, so like this, you know, you don't really feel stable and secure with what you have, and you have a fear about losing it. Eating disorders can be connected to this chakra as well. Not really trusting the universe or other people or the process of what's happening. Feeling really out of place and separate from everyone, like disconnected from everyone, really insecure, fearful. Fear is a big one for this. shame, feeling a lot of shame, like you don't actually deserve anything or you don't deserve to be here. That's a really, really big one for this chakra. Out of touch with reality, as I mentioned earlier, and or denying yourself as your basic needs. So like this one is connected to our basic needs as a human, but sometimes people will deny themselves the basic needs because they don't feel that they deserve them. This chakra is a lot about deserving, feeling like you deserve to be here and you deserve things. So, you know, those are some imbalanced characteristics. So when this chakra, when we're taking care of this chakra, it's really important to do things that connect us to the physical world. So things like getting grounded, going out into the environment and going for a bushwalk, or going and standing with bare feet on the grass, or just getting connected to the earth. Like there are electrons in the earth, and if you go and stand barefoot, on the ground, it's a great way to ground yourself, connect yourself to the earth, but also to stimulate and charge your own vibration. And like one of my favorite things to do, especially if I'm in a city and there's not a lot of nature around, I go and try to find a big tree somewhere, like in a park, and just sit against a tree and like kind of ground myself that way. Gardening, kind of just anything to do. I know some people love like squats, or like sitting down in like a squatting position or something, just to really connect you to your physical body, but to also connect you to the physical earth is really, really important. There are also things that you can do, like some people like to incorporate different foods within their diet to stimulate the energy flow through this chakra. So any foods that encourage grounding, like really earthy vegetables, root vegetables, basically for the root chakra, or like not needs, I tried to say seeds and nuts, seeds and nuts, rice, oats. You can also eat red foods because red is associated with this chakra, so you could do that as well. Yeah, so that is the root chakra. So your root chakra is at the base of the spine, and just a quick recap, it's kind of connected to survival. Well, it's not kind of, it is connected to survival and security, and really connects us to the physical world and our physical material needs. Cool. So sacral chakra is the next one, which is chakra number 2. So your sacral chakra is located, if you're looking at the back of the body, it's located over the sacrum. If you're looking at the front of the body, it's like above your pubic line but below your belly button, so just this area here. So your sacral chakra is primarily, its primary functions are to do with creativity, sexuality, sensuality, and pleasure. So this is definitely one of our pleasure centers in the body, and it also has a lot to do with our ability to create and be creative, and it has a lot to do with our emotions. It's a really like, it's all about the feels, or it's starting to become really like a lot about the feels, and all to do with sexuality and pleasure. So when I talk about pleasure, I'm not just talking about sexual pleasure, although this one has this chakra has a lot to do with sexuality. And the biggest imbalances that I see when I'm doing this work and working with people, a lot of the imbalances within this sacral chakra have to do with a lot of sexual stuff. So this one has a lot to do with pleasure. So as I said, it's not just pleasure, you know, within sex, although it has a lot to do with that as well. So for some people who don't allow themselves to have pleasure, whether that is in sex or whether that just is in life, you know, this one has a lot to do with feeling guilty. So when it comes to doing things that make us feel good, or doing things for pleasure, some people just don't have this ability to do themselves, or they deny themselves pleasure in life in all areas. So this one has a lot to do with pleasure. So if you're not finding pleasure in anything, like nothing gives you pleasure, even though it should. Could be because of an imbalance here, or if you just don't allow yourself to have pleasure in life in any area, it could be because of this one. A lot to do with our sexuality. So not just sexuality like sexual orientation, although, you know, that has a lot to do with it as well. And like, I'll speak from personal experience. Like I, you know, when coming out or going like through life, it's not so much so I guess struggling with my sexuality or becoming comfortable with my sexuality, and like the views or the rules that were placed on me by like outside opinions or different religions and things like that, of, you know, there being something wrong with me, and you know, all of that definitely impacted my sacral chakra, which I've discovered since doing work through that. You know, I thought I was really comfortable with my sexuality, and like on a surface level I really did feel I was, and then when I went a lot deeper into this chakra and things, a lot came out. So it can definitely have to do with your sexual orientation also, but also sexuality in terms of like just sex basically. So you know, having a strong libido or no libido, or feeling really comfortable within your sexuality, or feeling sexy, and not feeling like shame for any of that, and not feeling, you know, dirty about any of that, and just having like a really healthy sexual and sensual side. So allowing yourself to have pleasure sexually, you know, not having a lot of fears around sex. And yeah, basically this chakra has a lot to do with sex, and I want to touch on that a little bit later. So yeah, so as I mentioned, sensuality, sexuality, pleasure as well, and this one has a lot to do with creativity, so ability to create. So I'm talking about you know, for some people who have creative blocks, if you're an artist or you do some sort of creativity, you have like do something creative within your life, sometimes not being able to create can be connected to this chakra. Or when this one is, you know, functioning really beautifully, we have like this incredible creative flow, and like we're able to just create like endlessly. This one physically is connected to the reproductive system. It's also connected to the lower back. So if you have constant like lower back issues and you don't really know why, it could be because of an imbalance with this sacral chakra. Often what I see during treatments, during massage, is people with an imbalance in the sacral chakra have like a pocket of fluid basically over their sacrum. So you can literally see the blocked energy stored in the physical body. And I've literally seen it move, and the pocket, like of fluid, just go down once we clear that energy. It is connected to the reproductive organs, and I feel compelled to talk about this quite a bit, because I've seen this, you know, everywhere I've done training and done treatments with this, there is this consistency of women who have an imbalance in their sacral chakra also having issues with their reproductive system. So whether they have like reproductive issues, so problems getting pregnant, so infertility, history of miscarriages, irregular periods, no period, polycystic ovaries, like endometriosis, like all of those sort of reproductive issues can be caused by a blockage in the sacral chakra. And I think the trend or the pattern that I've seen with the women that I've worked with, and with myself specifically, is often it's had to do with sexual trauma and sexual abuse, and or like a suppressed sexuality, so made to feel disgusting or horrible or ashamed of your sexual side or sexuality. So they're some of the biggest factors I think that play an issue with women and their reproductive system and their menstrual cycle as well. And I fucking have seen this so much, and it really hurts and upsets me to see so many women struggle with their fertility basically, or their periods, and just general reproductive issues, or issues with their sexual organs. And to see this trend of the cause often being them being like assaulted in the past, or having their sexuality suppressed or made to feel not okay about their sexual side. It's really really upsets me. And I've to have had a lot of success with women and success with me in the past as well too, in relation to this, because this is something I struggled with big time and definitely impacted this area of my body. And I just see so many women struggling with it, and I know now through working with probably like I reckon about 20 people specifically on clearing out this chakra, and then having seeing them fall pregnant, or seeing their period come back, or seeing their reproductive organs go back into balance, has been fucking like really beautiful and amazing to see. Like it's really crazy. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but like I recently went through this like chakra clearing thing, and my period was really regular. It came on like the same day every single month for like years. And I went through this chakra clearing thing, and when we cleared my sacral chakra and cleared all the emotions and stuff that was like underneath the surface, or the demons hiding in there, my period wasn't due for like another 10 days, and literally the day after we cleared this out, my period came. And the blood looked different, like everything about my period was different. And it was crazy to see like the relation between clearing out the energy and emotions that were suppressed in this chakra, and to see how the physical body responded afterwards. So I just wanted to spend quite a bit of time talking about that, because if you are a woman and you're watching this and you have reproductive issues, or issues with any of your sexual organs, or your period, or whatever, I just urge you to kind of look at it from a more holistic aspect as well, because as I said, it may or may not be, the cause, but I've just seen this kind of repetitive trend within women about a blockage in their sacral chakra causing so many reproductive issues and issues with their sexual organs. And a lot of it has to do with suppressed sexuality and suppressed sexual trauma. And yeah, I just want you to know if that is you, or if that connects or relates or makes sense to you, like there is hope, and I would like to offer you support with this as well if that's something that resonates for you. So feel free to message me about it as well, because I think it just fucking pisses me off that so many women struggle with this, and it's due to trauma, not at their own hands, at somebody else's hands, and now they have to struggle and suffer with this stuff for the rest of their life. And it's really fucking disempowering. And I know for a lot of my friends and women that I'm surrounded by, when your sexual organs don't work properly, and you don't have a regular period, or a period at all, or whatever it is, it makes you feel like less of a woman. And like, I think fuck you to whoever caused that trauma, because it's not really fair. So I just wanted to kind of express that. Obviously I'm very passionate about it, but I found that working with myself in this way was really empowering, because it kind of gave me back control to be able to clear out trauma and stuff in that area, to help regulate my menstrual cycle, have a healthy menstrual cycle, a healthy relationship with sex, a healthy relationship with my sexual side as well, and with other people. So yeah, I've digressed quite a bit. Now it's like 30 minutes into the video, but I'm really passionate about chakras in general, but especially with this one, you know, connected to women. And because the sacral chakra is connected with sexuality, but it's also about creating. So it's about creating things like projects and creating art and just creating, but it's also about creating life and creating babies. So yeah, it has a really strong link to that. So let's just go through, I'm sure you've got the picture of kind of what this one's about, but when this sacral chakra is functioning healthily and it's working properly and it's balanced, we have a really positive relationship to our body and to our sexuality. We're more able to share our emotions. This one is a much more like sensual feeling sort of chakra, so we can like share our emotions more freely. Where this one is also a lot about desires. So when we are able to express that we have desires, whether they're sexual, whether they're just in life, or whether they're whatever, ability to freely express our desires and yeah, like admit that we want things, we have things that we desire. Doing things for pleasure and enjoyment, and partaking in like creative activities and doing things that make us feel creative. That we feel really passionate about life as well. Like this one has a lot to do with pleasure and passion. So feeling pleasure and passion for life, feeling positive about life, a regular menstrual cycle, emotional stability, being comfortable expressing your sexuality and sexual desires, honoring your sexual boundaries as well. So this has a lot to do with sexual boundaries. Allowing yourself to feel things, acknowledging your emotions. And then when this one is out of imbalance, we can also often struggle with addictions, because this one is all about pleasure. So it can be underactive and we don't allow ourselves pleasure, or we can overindulge in pleasures. So it could be addiction to sex, drugs, food, alcohol, gambling, whatever, just addictions in general. Jealousy, guilt, reproductive problems, overeating, undereating, overly really rigid sexual boundaries or really loose sexual boundaries, feeling that you don't deserve pleasure, not able to express your feelings, and negative, worried or obsessed thoughts about sexuality and sexual desires. This is also connected to self-worth as well, and feeling really uneasy or unsure when faced with sexual or emotional issues. And money or desires are a priority when making choices. So there's some symptoms of an imbalanced sacral chakra. So to take care of your sacral chakra, really important to do things like really nurturing your own needs and your own desires, showing love to yourself. And that could be like many different ways. Like it could be having, you know, having a nice bath, or doing like a face mask, or doing really nice things for yourself. Self-pleasure as well is a really good one to help with this chakra. Allowing yourself pleasure in life. So whether that is like sexual pleasure, whether that is just going and doing things that give you pleasure, and giving yourself permission to, you know, take yourself to the movies or take yourself out to eat, or, you know, whatever it is. Being social, expressing your sensuality, having a lot of like rest time as well. Just a lot of self-nurturing, I think, is really good to take care of this chakra. And because it has a lot to do with creative flow, to promote the energy flow, also things like dancing and creating and being creative, and, you know, like drawing or painting or sculpting or just creating something, yeah, is really important when taking care of this chakra. So I know that's a lot of information, but just to quickly summarize, your sacral chakra, which is here, is mainly connected to passion, pleasure, sexuality, and creativity. So yeah, I know that was quite a bit, but as you can tell, I have a lot of feels about that chakra, just because I know it's definitely been like part of my personal journey and growth. There was a lot of stuff in there that I had to work through and that I became aware of. And then as I started working with a lot of other people, men and women, but mainly women, I just kind of saw this trend happening. And yeah, just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit more in depth. Okay, so the next chakra that we're going to talk about is your third chakra, and it is called the solar plexus chakra. So the solar plexus chakra is here, so it's like above the belly button but below the rib cage, so here. And this is like your power center. So the primary functions of the solar plexus chakra are power and also emotions. Like my main things that I think about with this chakra is it's about power, it's about boundaries. Boundaries and power are pretty connected. Definitely emotions as well, and ability to get shit done is basically what this chakra is about, and our ability or to be seen and to shine and be like, here I am. So kind of to break that down, so this one is like our power center. So when this one is functioning healthy, we feel not controlling, but we do feel in control. Like we feel powerful, we don't feel helpless, we don't feel like we are at the mercy of everyone else. We feel really strong in who we are, and we have this ability to kind of like assert ourselves and to maintain like really clear, strong boundaries. This one, a lot to do with boundaries, and I feel the need to go into this a lot because another trend that I've seen and something that's specifically been an issue for me is boundaries. So what I mean by boundaries is like as you go through life and you're going through different circumstances, or you've got different people in your life or different situations, this ability to make really clear boundaries of basically this is what I will tolerate, this is what I won't tolerate, this is what I will accept, and this is what I won't accept. You know, making sure you are identifying for yourself, where are my boundaries, what are my boundaries, you know, how will I be treated, how won't I be treated, and then actually staying true to your boundaries. So something on boundaries I really want to mention, because I used to have no fucking boundaries. I was like, oh no, like just, you know, like it'd be really nice if you could treat me like this, but like no, feel free to like just treat me like shit, it's fine, I'm so nice and understanding, and like all this bullshit. It took me a while to be so fucking done with that, but I'm so fucking done with that. And what I realized, one of the most significant things I realized, is that you don't set boundaries by what you say you will and won't tolerate. You set boundaries by what you know allow to happen within your life. So I thought I would set boundaries because I would say like, this is, no, you can't treat me like that, and you can't speak to me like that, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and that's not what I want, and you need to do this and this and this. And then time and time again, like I would say that, and then people would just constantly step the boundaries, and then I would be like, okay, well, just this once, but like you can't do that again to me. And I realized that, you know, I thought I was setting the boundaries here by what I was saying I will and won't tolerate, but really I was setting the boundaries about what I was allowing to happen to me and happen in my life. And basically, you know, being in your power and having strong boundaries, you have this really strong ability to say no. You have this really strong ability to say, no thanks. No, I don't want to do that. No, you can't do that. That's my boundary. You've crossed it. Here's the consequence. I don't actually care how that makes you feel. If that upsets you, I don't care if you don't like me anymore. That's my boundary. Either you respect it or you don't. That's, you know, when you're in your power, other people aren't. When you're in your power and when you have strong boundaries, it's like it doesn't matter what anybody else does outside of you. They can't sway you. They can't fuck with you. This is like your unfuck with a bull, you know, center. And when this one is functioning properly, like you feel really fucking powerful. And like that word power can seem to be like a little bit aggressive or like control, but it's not. It's just being, not like having power over other people or anything like that. It's about having power over you, and like you get to decide how you feel, and you get to decide what happens, and you get to decide how you react. And nobody else is influencing that. You're not at the mercy of everyone else's behavior. You are in your power, so you decide. And you know, that's this center here. So yeah, this one is all to do with power, boundaries. It's also about getting shit done. So if you procrastinate a lot, or if you have this inability to actually just do things, like just get it done, like do the fucking do. You put things off, you have all these great ideas, you know exactly how you want to create things or what you want to create, but you just don't seem to do it. It can be because of an imbalance within the solar plexus and the power center. So yeah, this one, if you don't have a very strong willpower or struggle like with like procrastination, this could be an issue for you. So that, yeah, and then this one also has, to me, a lot to do with emotions. So depending on what material you read and stuff, the sacral, which we just talked about, and the solar plexus have a lot to do with emotions. But for me, I think the solar plexus has a lot to do with emotions too. And I feel like you really feel that here too. You know, like if you're nervous or you're angry, you're upset, you're excited, if you are feeling really, really strong emotions, you often feel them in your stomach, you feel them in your belly. And or like, you know, your stomach drops when, you know, somebody wants to talk to you about something or whatever. Like, so these emotions that we feel, anger, rage, excitement, nervousness, anxiety, we often feel in the stomach. And that's because I do feel like this is an emotional center as well. Now, physically, the solar plexus is connected to the stomach and like large intestines and a lot of our intergestional organs. So it has a massive impact on digestion. And so this, one of the massive trends that I see with the solar plexus is people with digestional problems. So whether you have an overactive bowel, an underactive bowel, constipation, like IBS, or any sort of digestive issues, often it can be because of like suppressed emotions or an unhealthy solar plexus. So this one, you know, is like the storehouse of a lot of emotions. So if we are not digesting your emotions, you can often have digestive issues. And I know this from personal experience as well. So I used to have a very specific digestional issue which plagued my life for about 7 years. And didn't matter, I went to the doctors about it, changed my diet, all this stuff, and never got better. And it like really impacted every single day of my life. And it wasn't until I went through a breakup, I realized how much emotion I had suppressed, and I was like, I don't want it, get it out of me, I'm so sick of carrying this shit around with me, that I went and saw this lady who really helped me delve deep, tap into a lot of stuff, and I had the biggest emotional release. I've never ever released emotion like that in my life. Well, actually I probably have since then, but that was the first time I just had this, like, I didn't even recognize myself with how emotional and how much I was screaming and crying and like all this grief and anger and stuff. Anyway, I had this huge emotional release for like 90 minutes straight, and days before this I was also releasing, and after this. And then this issue that I had had for about 7 years with my bowels went away, and that was like 3 years ago, and I haven't had an issue since. So that was just a really strong example, and I've seen this with a lot of people as well, as how yeah, an imbalance in the solar plexus can really impact the digestion and the bowels and stomach and large intestine and things like that. So if you are somebody that has yeah, issues with your digestive system, I would ask you, are you digesting your emotions? Are you maintaining strong boundaries? Are you in your power, or are you letting life and other people dictate how you feel and what you do or don't do? Yeah, so Solar plexus chakra. So if this one is healthy, the energy is like flowing freely, we're really accepting of others, we're confident, we have a strong willpower, definitely sense of assertiveness without being dominant of other people. You have a strong sense of who you are and you're proud of that. You're organized, you can admit when you're wrong, you have goals, ability to follow through, you're reliable, strong like sense of self-respect, ability to maintain boundaries, ability to say no, you feel powerful, and you have control in life, you have clear gut instincts and you act on them. You are aware that you have freedom to make choices, that you know your life isn't in everyone else's hands. Ability to manifest your goals, motivated and courageous. If it is out of balance, you often will lack confidence, you have suppressed emotions, specifically a lot of anger, afraid to do things alone, really passive, loose boundaries, no boundaries, overly sensitive, be easily upset, can't make decisions, fear of power, or like this need to control and dominate everyone and everything, really ego focused, stubborn, digestive problems, as I mentioned before, feeling though you have no choice in life, not really having a direction, you have a lack of drive, or feeling really overwhelmed with responsibility. So when taking care of this chakra, really important to actually digest your emotions and your experiences. So whether that's keeping a journal and writing them down, like it's not always, we can't always express how we feel, you know, with the people in our life. Sometimes they won't take it the right way, but I think it's really important that we are expressing them. So whether that's yelling in the car when you're driving home, whether it's writing it down, just getting it out, digesting it, getting it away. Being assertive, writing goals and setting steps to achieve them, and taking action is the main thing. Take action towards your goals. Yeah, and just maintaining clear boundaries and actually establishing, hey, what are my boundaries? You know, get really clear on what you do and don't want in life and will and will not tolerate. And that's a really good way to kind of go, oh, okay, like actually, yeah, what are my boundaries? And once you start to maintain them, you feel a lot more power come into your life. So that's the solar plexus chakra, and it is, as I said, your power center. It's about also, excuse me, so power center, also to do with emotions and boundaries and getting shit done. Okay, that's the third chakra. Oh, this video is going to be so long. Sorry. Not sorry though. All I'm thinking is it's going to take about 5 weeks to upload to YouTube. Anyway, next chakra is your heart chakra. So your heart chakra is at the center of your chest, so like between your nipples basically, not over your actual heart. So the heart chakra is all, as you can imagine it's the heart. It's all about love, love for yourself, love for others, acceptance, forgiveness, compassion. It also starts to connect us to our more kind of spiritual higher selves, whereas these lower ones are still pretty connected to the physical world and physical stuff. This is like the gateway between the physical and the spiritual. It's like the center. So our heart chakra is all about, yeah, like love and gratitude, and it's like this is where a lot of like the sweet stuff comes in. And I really feel like you can feel the energy so strongly here. Like, I don't know if you ever had your heart broken, but when you have your heart broken or something traumatic happens, you fucking feel it. Like, you feel like your heart is literally breaking. You feel your chest like caving and being crushed, and that's because you store that energy of love and that energy of like for yourself and for others here. So, you know, when this one is functioning healthily, we have this ability to give love without condition. See, a lot of people confuse love, like you think you love someone, you think you have love for them, but a lot of it's conditional. You know, I'll love you if, I love you when, I love you as long as you fit into this box, and as soon as you do anything outside of that, you lose my love. So for a lot of people, the issues in the heart chakra can start, maybe your parents were like that to you, or maybe you had those experiences in a relationship. So this has a lot to do with our relationship with our family, because that's where we first get shown love. Like, we are taught how to love and how to accept love by our mum and our dad and our immediate sort of surroundings. And so if our parents or those people in our family had a really unhealthy way of showing love or accepting love, we often take that on board. So I think we get confused in life, and we think we love ourselves, we think we love other people, but often if you look deep, it's conditional. Even I've realized this for myself, people in my life, I'll love you if, you know, I love you when. Same with myself, like, I have so much self-love, but only if I'm eating right or exercising or whatever. This has been a big lesson for me, and it's something I will continue have to work on. But the heart chakra is all about love for yourself and love for others. So when it's healthy, we have this ability to give love without conditions, give love with no attachment of what we get back, and we have this ability to receive love. I mean, really receive it, not like, oh thanks but I don't really deserve it, or like, oh I don't really know what to say when you like tell me that. Like, you know, just this ability to like receive love and feel it and be grateful for it. This heart chakra is got a lot to do with fucking gratitude. When this one is open, we feel so much gratitude, we feel like expanded, and we feel so much more connected to like ourselves and everyone around us, and we just start to communicate more from a loving place. It also has a lot to do with compassion and forgiveness, and just being more understanding of people and why they are the way that they are and why they act the way that they act. So this ability to forgive, this ability to give and receive love, this ability to have gratitude, and just to feel the love that's there, that's always around us. So this one is all about love. Physically, it's connected to the physical heart. It's also connected to the immune system and circulation. So this is why I think this is why we hear of people dying from a broken heart. You know, like old people that like one dies and then the next will die, you know, the next day. Because, you know, like have a heart attack when something really traumatic happens or heartbreaking happens. I've heard of that. Or a lot of people going through heartbreak will get really sick because it's connected to the immune system and circulation and lymphatics and things. So if you're somebody that constantly gets sick and have a really shitty immune system, it could be because of an imbalance within the heart chakra. Yeah, so let's I'll just talk about some characteristics of a balanced heart chakra. So when our heart chakra is open and balanced, we feel balanced. We feel peaceful, like we feel really loving and peaceful. Generous and giving. Yeah, this one's a lot about giving. Healthy and happy intimate relationships. Feeling like you have a right to love and to be loved. Compassionate, ability to forgive. Now I'm talking forgiveness not just towards other people but for yourself, and actually able to move on. Often if we hold on to the past and on all of our heartbreaks and heartaches from the past and all of our old heart trauma, this one can become blocked. Accepting support is really important. We feel happy, we feel light. We have unconditional love and affection. Ability to express love to ourselves. Self-love is a huge one, you know, with this one too. This one is also like about saying no to others without feeling guilty as well, because when we love someone, you know, if we truly love them, then we understand they deserve our honesty. So ability to say no and express that to them. Sympathy and being more tolerant of life and of people and where they're at in their life. Innocent, childlike love, empathetic. We feel more whole and content. More playful, ability to maintain long-term relationships. If this one is out of balance, we often feel really resentful and bitter, overly sensitive, unable to accept love and affection, not allowing yourself to be supported by others, feeling really negative towards yourself or towards others, unresolved and unexpressed grief. It's a big one. So immune issues, heart problems, blood problems. And this one also has a lot to do with breathing too. It's connected to the lungs, so any respiratory issues. Not able to let go of past wrongs done to you by others. This one's a good one. Letting your emotional scars influence your current relationships. So bringing the past scars into the now. Giving love insincerely and not genuinely. Lack of self-love and fear of being intimate because you have a fear of being hurt. Jealousy, codependency and possessiveness as well. So some really good ones to focus on the heart chakra, or exercises to focus on balancing this, is breathing exercises, meditations, learning how to express love, and allowing yourself to be loved unconditionally. And that's a really hard thing to do. I would first start by asking yourself, how am I giving love? How am I receiving love? Am I giving? Am I receiving? So just look at the way that you're loving in your life. If you are or are not, that's a good place to start. Having a massage or some form of touch therapy, doing what makes you happy, doing things that you love to do. Practice, being positive, practicing gratitude, like a gratitude journal. And it's really important when you're practicing things like gratitude or practicing self-love or love for others that you're not just saying the things. It's really easy to go like, I'm really grateful for my body, and I'm really grateful for the sun. I'm really grateful for my job. I'm really grateful for this green jumper. I'm really grateful for my family. I love my body. I love my hair. I love myself. Like, it's really easy to write the things, but really important if you're ever practicing gratitude or self-love, that you take time to actually cultivate what that feels like. If you want to practice like self-love and you want to practice what it feels like to love your body, you have to sit there and you have to think, if I really loved myself, like, what would that feel like? Or if I was really fucking grateful for the sun right now, if I was really grateful for my body, if I was really, really grateful for this green hoodie, what would that feel like? And you want to cultivate and generate that feeling of like gratitude and love and expansion. It's not enough to just think it. It's not enough to just say it. And it's not enough to just write it. You have to feel it. And that's what's gonna, you can feel it. You can instantly feel it. That's what's gonna open the heart up. So that's your heart chakra. That was nice. All right, next chakra is the throat chakra, which mine is like, I've been talking so much. So you talk about the throat chakra and then yawn, that's really common. So the throat chakra is located at the base of the throat, like where your Adam's apple would be, or like your little hollow in your throat, or at the back of your neck. So as you can imagine, your throat chakra is all about communication and expression. So it's about communication, so our ability to communicate our needs, our wants, our truth. It's our ability to express ourselves to our fullest potential without holding back. So this one, is all about expression, communication, our truth, and just other communication skills as well. So when I talk about communication, part of that is the ability to confidently and clearly and truthfully express ourselves and communicate with others. But it's also about listening to others and being able to communicate with them through listening, and without interrupting, and just having really good communication skills. So when this one is functioning healthily, we often speak, we will speak our truth, and we'll be able to communicate and express clearly and confidently. So often this one is an imbalance can be caused if there's areas in our life, or relationships in our life, or situations in our life which are prohibiting us from communicating truthfully. So perhaps if you're in a relationship where you're not able to say how you feel, or at work you've got just your boss is a fucking idiot, and like you just spend all day thinking about what you wish you could say, or like all this stuff you would want to express but you're not. So if you ever find yourself in situations where you're not actually saying how you truly feel, and you're just thinking about it, then this can definitely affect the throat chakra. So whether it's within work, or whether it's in like a social circle, or whether it's in a relationship, if you're not clearly, confidently, and honestly expressing yourself, this one can be affected. Like physically, it is connected to the thyroid, to the vocal cords, to like your bronchioles as well, to your mouth, to your ears, to your nose. So any issue with those could indicate an imbalance here. But what I recognize as one of the most common trends is people with an imbalanced throat chakra will have like constant throat infections, or tonsillitis, and then end up getting their tonsils out, or you just lose your voice for no reason. You just like lose your voice out of nowhere, or constant sore throats, or constant issues with the throat, the mouth, bronchioles, those sorts of things. So if you're finding that you're constantly getting having neck problems or throat issues, or you're constantly losing your voice, or getting tonsillitis, or getting sick, or you have this sort of throat stuff, any sort of sickness in this area, but the rest of you is kind of okay and there's no reason why, or if it's fucking consistent, then it could be because you're not expressing yourself, you're not using your voice, you're not being honest. Could be. I've spoken to a lot of people, especially that have been stuck in relationships where they would fight with their partner but not actually speak up and say how they felt and how they really wanted, what they really wanted to, because they didn't feel safe enough to express themselves. They would get like constant tonsillitis, and it wasn't until the relationship ended that would go away. So something to consider next time you lose your voice or get a sore throat is, what aren't you expressing? What are you holding back from expressing? Or if you are overly expressive, so this one can be overactive as well, and people are like they don't communicate in an appropriate way, or like you start screaming at someone or yelling at someone, or have a massive fight with someone, and you express yourself in a non-truthful way, in a very aggressive way. So often people, like I used to date someone that would get really, really angry, and then their throat chakra would be completely overactive. So they would say a lot of things that they don't mean, and are really horrible stuff. And then not just to me, but to like other people in their life, and then they would always get sick afterwards. And it was really, no, it's not funny, but to see this happen time and time and time again when they were like, their throat chakra was overactive. And because this one has a lot to do with guilt as well. So when you're overexpressive, you say a bunch of shit you don't mean, really aggressive, really horrible, and then you feel guilty for it, the energy can become stuck and blocked, and it can affect like the physical organs there. So she would always lose her voice and get sick afterwards after having that experience. And I've seen it happen with other people as well. So yeah, that is your throat chakra. So when this one is harmonious and balanced, we have clear, confident speech, ability to express ourselves, whether that's through laughing, crying, speaking, expressing creativity, ability to communicate with ease, expressing our will freely, listening to other people, speaking your truth, being really honest and open about how you feel, having calm and patient speech, feeling free and willing to voice your opinion, standing up for yourself, pride in what you say and believing that the words that you are saying are worth listening to. So understanding that people do want to hear what you have to say. Now, I always thought that I would have a super healthy throat chakra because I spoke all the time and never shut up, but I've had to do a lot of work, and I still have to do a lot of work because I have had one of the stories playing out in my life, and this running theme that I'm changing at the moment is often I hold back from speaking my truth because I don't want to upset other people, I don't want to hurt other people, I don't want them to not like me or whatever. And so I'm kind of at a fuck that stage, and it's been done wonders for my throat chakra. When this one is out of balance, we can have speaking issues, so stuttering or constantly clearing throat, fear of speaking, so not being able to use your voice and not being able to speak, fear of self-expression, so sore throat, tonsillitis, inability to express ourselves, unable to communicate effectively, speaking abruptly and with anger, so again being overly expressive, or gossiping. Gossiping's another good one. Yep. Needing to be the center of attention, being a chatterbox. You know, those people that just constantly have to talk. I feel like that's me sometimes. You're worried about silences, so you just keep talking. Lying, ignoring your inner voice, fears about being judged for what you're gonna say, feeling like you're not worth being listened to, problems with self-talk, a quiet, timid, weak voice. Yeah, that's a good one. Not being honest and speaking out. Yeah, they're all indications of an imbalance here. So when we are dealing with this chakra, really important to speak up and speak out about what you believe in, and basically just learning to get things off your chest. Now, I know that we're not always in the best environment to express what we want to say. The reason for your blocked throat chakra could be because of somebody at work that you want to, that you're not speaking to honestly, or they're really pissing you off, but that person may not take what you have to say, even if you express it in a nice way. They might not take it the right way, but it is important for you to actually express it in some way. So whether you go to counseling, or write it down, or tell a friend, or yell about it in the car, or cry, or whatever, it's getting it off your chest is really important. Anything that uses the throat, like singing, chanting, yeah, anything that kind of generates any sort of sound kind of coming through the throat chakra can be really helpful. Engage in conversations with people that have similar interests to you, so you can practice talking about what you love. Just reciting things out loud, really important too. So that is the throat chakra. Okay, so next chakra is the third eye chakra, which is between the brows. Some people call it the brow chakra. I like to call it the third eye chakra because I think of it as the eye that sees things that my normal eyes don't see. Your third eye chakra, its primary functions are intuition and psychic ability. So basically the third eye chakra starts to connect you to your higher mind, your higher self, your spiritual side, your intuition as well. So as I said, this is the eye that sees or senses things that your normal eyes don't see. So yeah, it's got a lot to do with our intellect, our mind, vision, psychic abilities, imagination, visualization. So when it is functioning healthily, we have a really strong, clear vision. So this is the vision of what we want to create in life, of what we want. We're able to visualize things clearly, and practice visualization easily, but also just visualize what we want and what we want it to look like, basically. So what we want to create and what we want it to look like. This one's also connected to intuition. So when this one is functioning properly, we have a really strong gut like instinct or strong sense of knowing, basically, because this connects us to our higher self, our more spiritual self, our wisdom, our innate wisdom, and our inner knowing, because we do have like this like innate inner wisdom that if we listen to carefully enough, it's all there. And when this one is functioning healthily, we have a really strong intuition and strong inner voice and a strong inner knowing of what to do, what we want, where to go. Whereas if that's kind of shut down, often we don't know what we want. We can't make a decision. We can't picture what we want to do, you know, where we want to go. This one, I think, is a lot of overthinking. So people that constantly overthink that they're making the wrong decision, they just can't make a decision. It can be because of a blocked third eye chakra. Yeah, so when this one is functioning properly, we have like more of awareness and acceptance of the fact that we have a spiritual self, and that we have like a higher self and this innate inner sense of wisdom that we can tap into at any time if we so please. We have a really clear vision of what we want. We've got really good memory. This one, we feel very focused as well. There's ability to focus. So for people who get like a really like stagnant mind, because this one is connected to the brain, it's connected to the mind, our eyes. So if we tend to have like a really foggy brain, or like we just can't like picture things clearly, it's like, yeah, really foggy, or you get like migraines and headaches here, it can be because of like this blocked energy happening in the third eye. Because when this one is functioning properly, we generally have really clear thoughts. Like we have this sense of clarity, we have really clear, strong thoughts, peaceful sleep. We start to feel more connected to the universe and our spiritual selves. We have wisdom, strong intuition, and we use that, you know, throughout the day in our daily life. Ability to learn from experiences. We're less judgmental and prejudiced about the world. We trust our inner knowing. We trust our kind of gut instinct. Our ability to have self-reflection. Ability to be introspective. Good imagination. Ability to like see the patterns that are running in your life. And to be able to kind of like separate yourself from your so you've got like your conditioned self, being able to like look at yourself, I guess from a objective point of view, and see the patterns that are playing over in your life, and being really honest with yourself about that. So seeing the patterns that run in your life, recognition of the spiritual aspect of life, and ability to think symbolically. If this one is out of balance, often we feel prejudiced towards people and to situations, focusing on only intellect and science. This is my favorite. You know, that just like that complete denial that there's anything spiritual happening in this world, and that it's just only focusing on intellect and only focusing on science. Seeing the superficial meaning to things, but this like fear of looking deeper into yourself and into the world and into life can be an imbalance. Rejecting your intuition, not being just unimaginative, nightmares. So if you have a really peaceful sleep and really clear, beautiful dreams, this one's often functioning properly. But if it's blocked, you can have no dreams, shit sleep, and nightmares. Confused, muddled thinking, delusions, hallucinations, misunderstandings and confusion that's really frequent, overly rational and mathematical about everything, an inability to think for yourself, out of touch with reality. So this one can be blocked, but it can also be overactive. So this is where, like, if you're starting on a spiritual path, you can kind of fuck yourself up a bit, because if you're focusing only on these upper chakras or these chakras which link you to this more spiritual world, and you're not paying attention to the ones that connect you to the physical world, you can have too much energy up here and not enough down there. And then that's when you end up with these like space cadets, airy fairy airheads, where like you know, yeah, maybe the spiritual stuff that they're talking is real and great, but they're just like not connected with reality and not connected with what's happening on earth. So it's like their kind of head is in the clouds. That's where that sort of saying comes from. So if they're focusing too much on this sort of stuff, they can, yeah, be a little bit out of touch with reality. Overly fearful or anxious, frequent negative perceptions of people and situations, really rigid thinking patterns. So when taking care of this chakra, it's really important to practice being imaginative and daydreaming. Just daydreaming and visualizing, you know, what do you want to create? What is it going to look like? You know, what will it look like really specific details about what you want, and just practice daydreaming and visualizing and being imaginative. Meditation is a really strong one because that helps to quieten the mind and allows you to connect to your inner wisdom and inner voice, which you can connect to through here. Writing down your dreams, what you want to create, going outside, enjoying the natural light and outdoors, anything that focuses or centers your mind, and expanding your knowledge and expanding your intellect. So not being like, just not wanting to see another, when you're open to seeing with the third eye, things differently, and you're willing to look at that kind of stuff and read all about that, watch documentaries and become interested in that, it's a good way to stimulate the energy flow through there. So that's the third eye chakra. The seventh chakra, the last chakra we're going to talk about, is on the very top of the head. So this is called the crown chakra, and it connects us to our, basically its primary functions are cognition, connects us to our higher self, and it connects us to basically source, or whatever else is out there, whatever's out there that is bigger than us. So, you know, I don't know how you personally feel. I don't know what it is you believe in, that like what exists beyond you, what else is out there. But when this is where I think the saying open-minded comes in, because like if you're open-minded, you are open to understanding and potentially believing that there is something bigger than you out there. So this one connects us to like it is basically our connection to source, connection to the universe, connection to a higher power, connection to something bigger than you, whatever that is for you. That might be God, that might be Buddha, Jesus, the universe, source energy, bloody aliens, or whatever you believe in. I don't care. I don't think there is a wrong or right answer, to be honest. I think it's whatever is your truth, is that this one connects you to that bigger thing, whatever it is. And I feel like a lot of people, you might not even know what it is yet, but you might feel like you have this knowing, or you're like, your mind is open to the fact that there is something else out there, and maybe you're still discovering it, maybe it's changing. I know my kind of concept of what this is and connection to it changes all the time. Or, you know, but then for some people, they're just like closed-minded, like just not, this complete inability to even fathom the idea that there could be something else out there, or there's something bigger happening, you know, that, you know, we are all connected to something else. This one, if you want to put it simply, crown chakra is about connection. It's also about purpose. You know, why are you here? Why are you here on this earth? You didn't just fucking wind up here by accident. And like, you didn't just like pop out of nowhere. Like, there is a reason. There's something bigger, you know, something else bigger happening out there. There's a reason that every single human is here on earth. And in order to find that, you first have to believe that that's true, that you're open-minded to that you have a purpose, and you feel connected to that higher source of energy or whatever else is out there, in order to find out what that purpose is, basically. So I think of this one as connection to the higher power, whatever it is. I also think of this as connection to feeling connected to everything and everyone. So feeling connected to the universe, feeling connected to like literally everyone and everything, and feeling deeply connected to yourself. and really deeply connected to others. And yeah, this one, when it is like not functioning properly, we can be really, really closed-minded and really kind of object to anything else existing beyond the physical world. And so this one physically is connected to our pineal gland, our head, like our whole head, upper brain, our central nervous system as well. So if you again get like a lot of headaches or migraines specifically on the top of your head, any sort of head issues, it can be connected to a blockage without, you know, through the crown chakra. I just kind of picture it as like the energy wants to escape, it wants to connect you, and if you're just like keeping it fucking closed with your belief system, then it's just gonna like gather and fester and can cause like some issues up here. So yeah, this one is all connected to like our connection to God, a higher power, source, the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it, awareness, enlightenment. That has a lot of charge, that word enlightenment. Just, I'll go, forget I said that for a second. Fulfillment, having purpose, and like that deep sense of purpose and inner quest about why you're here. So when this one is balanced, we have a lot of gratitude and awareness of the unity of all life. We feel blissful. We have this ability to really live in the present moment, to tap into the universal consciousness, to be aware and accept a higher source of some kind, strong sense of wisdom, knowledge and clarity, ability to find the answers from within yourself, because you know that you are connected to this bigger thing that has all the answers. Self-knowledge, ability to live your truth, having a sense of your own spirituality. So kind of taking what you feel connected to and developing your own sense of spirituality, like whatever it is. There is no one way to do it or to think about it. So a strong spiritual connection. You feel like connected to the universe and that life is working with you as well. When you're really connected to this, you just feel like everything flows. You have a lot of like coincidences happen, and you're really inquisitive about everything. You have a really strong sense of the meaning of life. You have a strong sense of purpose and direction. You feel connected to the greater world and you want to make a difference. So you're not just so, you know, so self-centered. And you're just kind of aware of the miracle of being here. Whereas this one, when it's blocked, or if you're, when it's blocked, you can get headaches, nervousness, like, because it's connected to the nervous system, issues with the nervous system or mental disorders, a lot of fear. I feel like people's inability to open their mind to the sense or to the truth that there could be something else out there is fear-based. It's kind of fucking like scary, like, because you don't really know what it is. You know, even if you do believe or feel connected to something, you will never know exactly what it is or the truth of what it is or what it all is or what it all means. It's, I think, sometimes a lot easier for people to just say that there's nothing else out there. And I think it's all based in fear, to be honest. Fear of what's out there, fear of death, insomnia, believing in self-limitation, so that there really is a limit. Feeling unsatisfied and lost in life. So if you don't really feel like you have a purpose, living in the past or the future but not the present, confusion, anxiety and fear, depression, ignorance, ego-based choices, being closed-minded, overly skeptical, overly rigid belief system. So here's the other thing, is that you might think you have a balanced crown chakra because you believe in God or you believe in all this stuff. But if you have an overly rigid belief system, overly rigid religious views or of what it is, like that your truth is the only truth, then you can also have a blocked crown chakra if you think there is only one thing out there and it's like overly rigid and not flexible and not open. overly intellectual, feeling really isolated and alone, because this connects us to the greater world. It connects us to whatever else is out there. It's our connection to source, connection to everything and everyone else. If this is completely closed, we feel really isolated and like not connected at all, and just feel really, really alone. And having no direction and feeling really directionless, like who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? So some ways to promote the energy flow through here: prayer, meditation, really good ones, practicing gratitude, just anything that brings you peace and joy, indulging in that and becoming aware of that, writing down your dreams, resting, self-reflection, silence. Silence is a good one. People who struggle to be alone or to be in silent area, like always got to have a TV, always got to have music, always got to have something. I think people don't like silence because it's uncomfortable, and sometimes they're afraid of what they might feel or afraid of what they might hear or see within themselves. But I think that that's the best way to connect you and open you up, is that. So silence is a good one. And just taking time to notice this. Like in this book, it says taking time to notice the divine in daily life. I know that's not going to resonate for some people. I think for me, it's just like going out sometimes and just like standing and looking around and being like fucking like, wow. Like it's so beautiful, like these trees or the sky or the moon or this eclipse or whatever. Or like looking at the creation of life, like looking and just feeling it and being aware of it and being like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe like I'm here. Like how exciting, and just having gratitude for existing and being exciting about existing. And they're all of your 7 chakras. Holy fuck, an hour and 27 minutes. I don't know how anyone's gonna get through this video. Maybe I'll have to do like separate it in parts. Yeah, I don't actually really remember anything I just said, just kind of went on a roll. So I hope that a lot of it made sense and wasn't too overwhelming. And perhaps, you know, as I was going through that information, if you're still watching, you know, potentially maybe it brought awareness to what could be going on within your body, within your mind, or within your chakra system. And maybe you've got some things you want to work on, or maybe do some bit more research on. I would say, one piece of advice, if you're like me, when I first learned about this stuff, and sometimes I still do this now, is I go, oh, holy fuck, all my chakras are out of balance. And then it's like, what do? I've got to do all these things to balance them all. I would say that pick the one that resonated most with you, or if something came up and whatever is causing you the most unhappiness right now or disturbing your physical body in the most way, just start with one. You know, just start with one. If you want to do some of the activities or exercises that I mentioned to bring balance back into certain energy centers, I would say treating one at a time is really good. Like treating the priority chakras is really good. There's a lot of other things you can do as well. There's also crystals, if you're into crystals, different essential oils, as I said, different foods, different colors you can use, affirmations you can use. There's so much you can do to help promote the energy flow through these chakra points. But a lot of it has to do with kind of delving into the suppressed stuff and digging that out to clear it out. So if you're somebody that's just sat here and watched this and you're really interested in this and you really want to do a lot of self-work on your chakra systems, I've just been trained in this thing. I've been trained to become a spiral practitioner. And if this is something that resonates with you, I would love for you to contact me, because what I do now is I offer this thing called the spiral, which is a basically a 7 to 8 week process of going through each of the chakras, clearing them out, and giving you a new sense of self and a new sense of life, and bringing awareness to what's actually kind of stuck in them. And it has changed my absolute life, and I'm really, really excited to start taking people through this process and this journey. So if you've watched this video and that's something that you would be interested in, or if you just want any more information at all, please feel free to contact me. I'd love to help you out. If you're overwhelmed right now, if you don't know where to start, if you have more questions, if you need more clarification information on things, whatever it is, I want people to be able to utilize this concept and utilize this information to change their fucking lives, and to understand how their body is so connected with their energy. It's like mind body connection is unreal. And when you start to look at yourself from a holistic point of view, and you start to look into the deeper reasons of why you've got physical issues or emotional or mental issues, or just looking at yourself in a different way, and your life will change. So I'm really hoping that this information has been helpful, and yeah, I'm gonna, after I get off this video now, I'm gonna do a clear of my own chakras, and I'm gonna record it and post it at some point. Maybe it'll be interesting because I can offer chakra clears to people as well. Yeah, so this is literally the longest video of my life. So I did not expect it to go this long, but you know, it's good. There's a lot of information, and I'm still practicing and perfecting my ability to keep things really concise. Sometimes I give too much information, but I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that it's been useful. I hope that it has maybe shed some light or brought some more awareness to what's going on with you personally. But please, 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 please feel free to contact me. If you do have any questions, want help with anything, need clarification or whatever it is, or if you really want to get fucking deep into it and you want me to take you through the spiral, let me know. My email address is this, so feel free to email me. All right, well, I hope you all have a beautiful morning, evening, day, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next time.